Now, don't worry, guys. The new film Plane may sound generic, but it is anything but. Because it's generic, but it's got Gerard Butler in it. Okay, so this new movie Plane stars Gerard Butler and Mike Colter and is directed by Jean-Francois Richet. And so the movie is essentially about a pilot trying to get home to his daughter. He's doing this last flight to get home. He's got end of his shift, he'll be home for the holidays or whatever kind of scenario. And while they're on this flight, they get hit by a storm and they crash land on an island that is filled with people who are not too friendly. And that's kind of your premise. Also on this plane is a convicted criminal who is being transported, played by Mike Colter. And when they're on this island, they have to team up and essentially save everybody. And it's a premise we've kind of seen done before. And it's an action movie that, it does seem like the kind of stuff Gerard Butler tends to do. He's done a lot of this kind of stuff to different degrees of success and quality. And for me personally, I think Gerard Butler in this, totally great. I think he's a good actor. I think in this movie, he really elevates a kind of simple, plain, different spelling story. And I like Mike Colter, who was on Netflix's Luke Cage. And he's been in some other stuff. I really dig him. And I think they have really good chemistry together when they're on screen together. But yeah, this whole movie is, I kept finding myself waiting for, the action to kick in. I think they have a decent enough build, but I do think it takes a while to get into the crash and for all the action and stuff to happen. And that's a bit of a problem because when you're selling this as a Gerard Butler action movie, it does kind of stink to wait about 35 to 40 minutes into the film for anything to really get going. And even then, with an hour left, that action is very, very lackluster to an extent. I think there's a few scenes I definitely got some chuckles out of that I was like, oh, that was a good little action set piece. I think Gerard Butler, carries himself very well in these type of movies. But it's just everything on the whole just left me feeling blech. Like, I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it. So the whole time watching this, we've seen stuff like this. And I wasn't expecting this to be the greatest film in the world. And I'm glad to report it's not the worst thing I've seen. It's just kind of, very middle of the road. January is kind of that crapshoot month of the year where you either get something that could be a hidden gem or something that could just be a big pile of crap that the studios kind of just drop in a month that movie attendance is usually down. So I wasn't sure what to expect of this. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. I think for the hour and 40 minutes you're sitting there, it's not a bad time. I think the characters are kind of fun, and I think you get immersed enough in the story a little bit to be like, oh, okay, I can roll with this, and let's see if they can elevate some of this other stuff. Can we take this typical story we've seen done to death 1,000 times, and can they do something different? Can they do something unique? And the uniqueness just comes in Gerard Butler. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people like him. I do, who isn't enamored with his Scottish accent when he's talking? And they let him do it, and he says he's Scottish in the movie, so it's cool. All right, whatever. Mike Colter, is a foreboding, big, kind of scary presence at times, but I've always liked him as an actor since Luke Cage, and I think every scene he's in, I'm glad to see him. It's just kind of the rest of the cast. You got a few little bit players you've seen in other stuff, and it's just, it just doesn't do anything to really elevate stuff, which bums me out because I think they nailed a lot of, what I was enamored with actually is a lot of the talking about technical stuff on the plane, the different checks they have to do, or just some of the little nuances to being a pilot. I was like, okay, somebody did their homework, it feels like, because I was actually kind of interested in this stuff, so you believe that he was a pilot. I'm really bummed that this wasn't any better, because I really was hoping, for a little diamond in the rough. Maybe not the greatest film ever, but something where I could go, hey, this is one of those little action films that you'd recommend to somebody because it was just different enough. But I just found myself thinking this would have made a better video game where I could be the main character, you could be the main character, and you can, lead the saving of this group of people that crash land on an island. Maybe there's a video game already like that. I don't know. I really haven't played a lot of video games the last 5-10 years. But I found myself thinking this would make a better video game when I have, when you're in control of, navigating through the jungle to save these people and, fighting off mercenaries and fighting off the militiamen or whatever. And at the end of the day, it was just kind of there. It's kind of, I don't think you would have a bad time if you decided to go see this, but I also don't think this is the worst film you're going to spend an hour and 40 minutes during. And like I said, there was a few little action bits that I was like, okay, that was actually kind of fun. Not enough for me to recommend this movie that much, but enough for me to go, you know what, if you caught this on like a Netflix or caught this on whatever streaming service this will end up being dumped on, I'd say give it a watch. You turn your brain off for an hour, 40 minutes. At the end of it, you're like, that was all right. That's how I felt about this. So I'm going to give this a, C+. I think that, it does some stuff that's really good. And Gerard Butler is Gerard Butler, and he does what he does. Mike Colter delivers. I think there's a couple other little performances in there that I actually kind of enjoyed from actors that nobody here would hear of. So if you get a chance to check it out, hey, you do you. But I'm probably not going to remember this by the end of the year. This will be one of those films I'm like, did I see that this year? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I did see this. It was back in January. So it is what it is. And so, you do you. But yeah, guys, so that's my review for Plane. Have you guys seen it? Do you plan on seeing it? Are you hesitant to see it? What are your thoughts? Leave those comments down below. Do you like Gerard Butler? I think a lot of people like Gerard Butler. Leave your comments down below. If you could also please hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the little bell notification to be notified whenever I drop new videos. It would be greatly appreciated. Helps the channel out. And not even sure what the next movie is. January is kind of going to be a slow month from here on out. So who knows what the next big movie is I'll end up trying to go see. But until that time, guys, I'll be seeing you.